I'm PGA professional Scott Newell, and I'm the first assistant here at the Reserve Club at St. James. Today I'd like to talk about ball position as your January golf tip of the month. Alright, so we're talking about ball position today. Alright, it's something that I see often overlooked by a lot of my students, something that I don't see that gets practiced very much on the range, and after today you're going to understand why that's so important to work on this. So first of all, let's get some reference points out of the way. I've got a 7-iron in my hand here to help demonstrate, but what we want to do is we want to talk about proper ball positioning for the various clubs in your bag. First, I like to position all of my irons, my wedges included, about a ball forward of center. Okay? So that's about a ball forward of center. For my fairway woods, and even say a hybrid, if you carry any hybrids in the bag, I like to position those just slightly forward of that, maybe a ball forward of where I position my irons. All right, that's going to be right about here. Okay, and for the driver, that is going to be the most forward. All right, that's the longest club in the bag. We have a little bit wider stance there, but the ball will be positioned right off the left heel with the driver. All right, now that we know where to position the ball in the various spots in our stance, depending on the club that we have, I'd like to talk about what happens if our body alignment gets off and how that affects ball position. All right, so I've selected a 7-iron here right now, and I want to show you how that is going to be affected if, for instance, I open my stance a little bit, which for me as a right-handed golfer is turning to the left. All right, what happens to that ball position if I turn my body to the left? Is that ball in the middle of my stance or a ball forward of the stance anymore? No, it's not. You can actually see, if I go ahead and move this alignment stick here, all right, that moved all the way to the back of my stance just by turning my body more open to the target. Again, for me, that's to the left. Conversely, if I align close to the target, which for me is to the right, all right, we'll go back to square. Now if I turn a little bit to my right or close to the target, look what happens to the ball there. The ball is now all the way in the forward of my stance, in the front of my stance. So you can see that just by angling my body just a little bit, I can change the relative position of the ball. Why that's important is that's going to affect your ball contact. It's going to affect your face angle. It's going to affect your angle of attack. It's going to affect a lot of different things. So you, therefore, could be adjusting your swing without even knowing or understanding just by misaligning the body. All right? What I'd like to do now is I'd like to talk about what happens to the body when the ball gets misaligned. All right, so for this, we're going to take a down the target line view, and we'll kind of see what happens to the body when the ball position changes, so you get a better understanding of kind of the whole picture. Okay, so here we are shooting down the target line. What we're going to talk about now is what happens to, in particular, I'm going to focus on the upper body, what happens to that when the ball starts to move around, okay, if you're not careful. So I'm going to use this alignment stick here, and I'm going to put it on my shoulder, on my shoulders here, and that's going to kind of tell us where our body is aligned. All right, this is going to affect kind of the path of the club. All right, so again, let's assume that I have that 7-iron again. I'm going to put the ball about a ball forward of center. My shoulders are nice and aligned. Now, what happens if I move the ball back in the stance? If I'm not paying attention and the ball gets too far back in the stance, what I see all too often with my students and my players is that they want to point their sternum and have their sternum look at the ball. Well, it's a common mistake, and let me just show you what happens if that occurs. All right, the ball gets too far back. I want to look at the ball with my sternum. Well, look now. My shoulders are now pointed well right of the target. Again, for a right-handed player. So they're not aligned at the target. What do you think the chances of the ball starting on your intended target line are? Probably not very good. Now let's see what happens if I get the ball too far forward. All right. Again, I've got the 7-iron. Let's pretend I've got that 7-iron. Now I've got the ball too far forward. Most players want to do this. They want to look at the ball, not just with their head by swiveling their head. They want to look at the ball with their sternum. All right, if I do that, I make the mistake and I do that, look where my shoulders are now going. Look where my upper body points. It doesn't point at the target anymore. It points left of the target, thus affecting where that ball naturally wants to start. Okay? So for the last part of this Golf Tips of the Month, I want to talk about what happens if to the swing and your mechanics if the ball gets in various spots. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about that. So for our final segment here, talking about ball position, we're going to talk about what can happen to your swing mechanics if the ball position gets too far back or too far forward. Okay, so let's assume that my mechanics are already pretty sound. If I move that ball a little bit too far from me to the right, or in back of my stance, closer to my trail foot, what I tend to see is that players tend to early extend. They come up out of the shot a lot. All right. Well, that obviously leads to very poor contact. All right. You can hit on top of the ball. The club can kind of go down, hit behind the ball, get stuck in the ground. The swing becomes very steep. Also, what I see is we tend to reverse pivot. All right, when the ball is too far back, the body has a difficult time shifting the weight forward naturally, and as a result, the body hangs back in this manner. All right, now if the ball moves too far forward, what I see a lot is players generally tend to do the opposite. They tend to slide through the ball in an effort to get the club to the golf ball. All right, the club kind of wants to bottom out here, but when it's too far forward, the body tends to try and chase in this manner to get the club to hit the back of the ball first. All right, those things lead to a lot of different inconsistencies. So understand that ball position is really of paramount importance and paramount interest. So when you're practicing, go ahead and get you some of these alignment sticks here. You can get them at the local department store or local home improvement store, and practice this when you're out on the driving range. It's really important, based on what we've talked about today, to do these things. So if you can go ahead and implement better ball positioning into your game, you're probably going to start scoring a lot better, hitting a lot more quality golf shots, and playing better. All right, so now that it's the new year, it's 2020, I want to wish everyone a happy new year, and I want everyone to make a resolution to play better golf. All right, if you have any questions or you want to see a trained professional, then come see me. I'm over here at the Reserve Club, again, St. James Plantation. I'd love to help you out. Thanks again.